Well, here I am again, and if I have to give this little video a title, it would probably be how to read a natal horoscope. And so, let's say maybe you want to know what's coming up next week or next month or next year, and so you look at transits or progressions or some kind of forecasting technique. And so people do this, yet transits come and go, progressions come and go, and nothing much happens. And I think it's in large part because if we're going to do forecasting, we really need to understand the nature of the person. We need to know what kind of person this is. This is before we can understand how the person is likely to react or not react, depending on the transit or the progression or whatever it is. So, for instance, transiting Jupiter, let's say, is going to provide an opportunity for expansion. But the question is not so much what does Jupiter do, but how does the person react to the possibilities represented by Jupiter. So if the person is into expansion, then something will happen. But what if the native is cautious? They're not going to react the same way to a chance to expand. Some people are fearful of change. They just don't like change. They would rather live with what they know than do something different. Or some people are reckless and careless and just plunge into things and with no consideration of what it might lead to and what it might bring. So I think there's no easy answer to what does the future hold for any one individual. But I'd like to make a start, and I think we can do, I was going to say do good work, but we can make a good start. We can make the beginnings of a good foundation if we start with the ascendant. And so in the next few minutes I want to look at, I've got 3 or 4 people, I'm not sure what we'll get to. But anyway, let's say we start with the ascendant, okay? And there's my little horoscope. So I've got 3 people in mind. So one person is 25, Sagittarius rising, okay? And this is the house of the self, okay? So we stop at this point and we think about what do we know about Sagittarius? And I'll mention 1 or 2 things, but really it's sort of up to you to bring to the discussion or to the chart as much as you know about any particular sign at that moment. So Sagittarius, one of the key words of Sagittarius is I understand. And this is the house of the self. So this person is in life to understand the self. And how, okay, that's a general thing. Think about Sagittarius, the higher education, travel, and so on. And I'm thinking, when I was figuring out whose chart to use, I realized that this person went to university and never finished. And my sister-in-law, also a Sagittarius rising, and she went to University of Toronto for several years, but she never finished either. And so even though Sagittarius is a natural ruler of higher education, it makes me wonder, if you get Sagittarius rising, the urge may be there to go to school or to go to follow some kind of course in higher education, but I'm wondering if the urge is there to not bother finishing it as well. Anyway, 25 Sagittarius rising. So they're in life to understand the self. And how is this going to come about? Sagittarius, we know, is ruled by Jupiter. And this person has Jupiter in the 12th house at 8 degrees of Sagittarius. So the ruler of the first is in the 12th. And when you combine the meanings of the houses, then you get a statement about what kind of person this is. So the 12th is self-undoing and it's karma. So this person is her own worst enemy, the rule of the first in the 12th. Or this person is going to spend time alone or behind the scenes, working behind the scenes, or in a state of isolation because of the nature of the 12th house. Whereas if Jupiter had been up here in the 9th, this would have been a traveller. If Jupiter had been in the 5th, this might have been an actor, an actress, somebody involved with children. And this is just making basic use of the meanings of the houses. So on the one hand, we've got Sagittarius rising and Jupiter in the 12th. The person is in life to pay off karma, we could say, to understand karma. Okay, the 12th. Sagittarius, I understand, karma, the 12th. But there's behind the scenes activity as well. And so the person spends time in isolation. Now 25 Sagittarius is, if we look, we've got the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius is pure Sagittarius. The next 10 degrees from 10 to 20 is Sagittarius, it's the Aries decanate. And at the end, 20 to 30 degrees, is the Leo decanate. And we know Leo is ruled by the Sun. So we look to see where the Sun is. And the Sun is up here in the 10th at 18 degrees of Libra. So on the one hand, the person is motivated to stay in the background. But at the same time, the person is motivated to come before the public, the Sun in the 10th, right? And to get or to seek public recognition of her efforts. No, there's no aspect between these two planets, so there might be a bit of a, not exactly a conflict, but if there had been let's say a trine or a sextile aspect, then she can handle working behind the scenes and being before the public. There's no aspect, so it doesn't mean that there's a problem, but when there are aspects or transits to the Sun, then she'll be motivated to be before the public, and maybe she would seek recognition. Whereas when Jupiter is being activated by transit or progression, then you've got working behind the scenes idea. So that's something, but the thing is, it gives us statements about the beginnings of an understanding and basic statements about how this person is built. Understand the self through being before the public as well as through, let's say, introspection, we could say. Okay? So